All right, so here we go. Back to the book. The major Japanese attack was expected along the Guadalcanal, and most of the division strength was placed there. The Japanese moved to attack these positions on October 15th. With the Japanese 2nd Division assigned to swing far inland and hit the Marines from the south in an area where Puller's men awaited. 9 infantry battalions set out on this march, a total of 5,600 men, excluding artillery and other support troops. The soldiers carried or dragged everything, even guns, over the rough trails. They were late in making their attack and abandoned many guns on the trail. So the Japanese are coming, and they're coming aggressively. A company was weaker by 1 platoon than the other companies, for despite protests of Colonel Puller, there was an outpost of 46 of its men, some 3,000 yards to their front, commanded by Sergeant Ralph Briggs, Jr. of Fort Edwards, Wisconsin. These men had been out for several days to warn of an enemy approach. Colonel Puller was on the field phone during the day of digging in, trying to persuade his regimental commander to have headquarters withdraw Briggs and his patrol. They're going to sacrifice those men. That's all. We don't need any bait on the hook, as you say. If they're coming, they're coming. This is foolishness to throw away that platoon. And they do a great job in the miniseries, The Pacific, of kind of showing this. And if you haven't watched The Pacific, I mean, just watch it. Watch it about 10 times. I've probably watched it 20 times. And he tries to keep them as safe as he can. Back to the book. All right, he said, let's get this straight. Hold fire until you get an order from me. That the outpost must get clear before we open up. If the bastards break through, use the bayonet. And keep someone at every phone. Wait. Puller looked at his watch. It was 10 o'clock. Yells rolled from the right. Japanese voices shouting in English, "Blood for the Emperor. Marine, you die." A Marine bellowed back, "To hell with your goddamn Emperor." Sergeant Manila John Basilone's nest of guns was about the center of C Company, in the middle of the line, with a slight decline in his front. The enemy drove toward him so persistently that he covered the hill with their bodies, and when the first fury of attack faded, he sent men to push down the wall of enemy bodies to clear the fire lane. Of course, that's John Basilone, who was awarded the Medal of Honor for those actions that night. Now there's a artillery commander a little bit to the rear named Duvall, and Puller is asking Duvall for massive artillery support because they're like gonna be overrun. Puller called Duvall again. "Give us all you've got. We're holding on by our toenails." "I'll give you all you call for, Puller, but God knows what'll happen when this ammo we have is gone. If we don't need it now, we'll never need it. If they get through here tonight, there won't be a tomorrow." That's the situation that they were in. Reagan Fuller called from the CP from the flank. "Colonel, I'm just about running out of ammo. I've used almost 3.5 units of fire." "You got bayonets, haven't you, Fuller?" "Sure. Yes, sir." "All right, then. Hang on." In the heaviest of the firing, when Puller had left the CP, regimental headquarters called for him. "Not here, sir," the wireman said. "Colonel Puller's up front. Find him. Get him on the phone." After the crew had made several calls to the line position, Puller returned and talked to the regimental commander. The few remaining in the pit heard Puller's explosive reply. "What do you mean, what's going on? We're neck deep in a firefight, and I have no time standing here bull-flinging. If you want to find out what's going on, come up and see." You know, he was that good. Like, he was that good that he was able to do that. You know, it's kind of like remember when I was talking about Steve Jobs a couple podcasts ago, and I was like, "Hey, look, he was not a good leader. He was abusive, and he was so good at his other skills." Well, Puller's such a great leader down the chain of command, and he's such a great tactician, and he's so brave and so dominant on the battlefield that he does this stuff and like basically gets away with it.
Yeah, it gets away with it.
Yeah.